Welcome back, guys. Johnny Keck over at AMP Futures. Thank you for tuning in. We're going to show you another function within MultiCharts.net, AMP exclusive platform free of charge. We're going to show you how to manage your workspaces. This is a pretty important component within MultiCharts, a very simple one, but definitely something that you want to be able to understand how to utilize as you get more familiar with the platform, as you use it more frequently, building out workspaces and compiling them, saving them, creating additional workspaces, backing them up is going to be important for you to do so you don't lose your work. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to show you how to create simple workspaces, and we'll get into the next video where we're going to show you how to create desktops, which will be a different aspect of workspaces, but not necessarily the same function. So we're going to show you first how to build out a workspace, and the first thing that you're going to want to do, in this case, I already have a workspace created. You can see at the bottom of the platform here, there's a tab on the lower left corner, and it says CQG-White. So when you first log into MultiCharts.net with AMP for the very first time, there is going to be a set of workspaces that we automatically create for you. And we understand that, if you've been using a trading platform for quite some time, there's always going to be a learning curve when you transition to something that you've never seen before. And the last thing that we want for you to is get discouraged and give up on the platform. So that's why we build those pre-built workspaces for you. So when you log into the platform, you're not looking at a blank screen and just wondering what to do. You have a foundation to build off with a simple workspace that we've already created for you. And it's not necessarily what you see on the screen at the moment, but it is similar. You'll typically have more charts. You'll have a different structure in the way the windows are arranged. But for the most part, it will look similar to what you see on the screen. However, I do want to show you how to build your own workspace in terms of creating a workspace. And as far as creating an entire workspace, I won't go through that process since we've already shown you how to create new charts, how to create a new DOM, watch list, order and position tracker window in our other videos. So you should have an idea how to build windows within a workspace, but the important thing is where to go to start building out workspaces. So let's get started. We're going to go File, the very top menu option here, and you're going to see New, and you're going to see an option that says Workspace. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just minimize this DOM for now. And I'm going to go to File, New, Workspace. And watch what happens when I create a new workspace. You'll see that now there's a secondary tab at the bottom. And this is now going to allow you to create a brand new workspace. So the one thing that's nice about creating additional workspaces is you can tab the tab between workspaces. So just because you create a new workspace doesn't necessarily mean that you don't have the ability to access the previous workspace that you already had open. All right, so you can create as many as you wish. I've seen customers at AMP, they have 20, 30 workspaces open at the same time. Perhaps they have workspaces built for specific purposes or perhaps for specific markets. So I'll leave it up to you to decide how you build your workspace layout out. But of course, we just want to make sure you understand where to go to build a workspace. So again, it's going to be File, New, Workspace. All right, so there I've just created a third tab. Now what you're going to want to do is it would be recommended to label your workspaces so it helps you identify the tabs at the bottom there versus keeping them as untitled. So if you want to label them, just simply right-click on the title and go to Rename and just name the workspace anything you wish. So in this case, I'll just call it, for example, ES, which represents the mini S&P, and do that once more. All right, and then we're going to go and rename the Untitled 2 workspace. We'll just call that NQ for the mini NASDAQ, okay? So this is sometimes how I've seen certain customers lay their workspaces out. Perhaps they're using different time frames, so maybe they'll have ES 5-minute as a label or ES 15-minute as a label. Whatever the case may be, you have flexibility in terms of how you label your workspaces. Now, the next step is, of course, building out your windows within the workspace. So let's say, for instance, if I go to File, New, and I create a new chart, specifically for the ES, since I have that specific workspace labeled ES. And just give it a couple seconds. You're going to see that Format Instrument button pop, or better yet, window populate. All right, and there it is. And now we're going to go ahead and just create a mini S&P chart. So we'll just go EPM16. Let's just stick with the default settings. We'll go OK. And now we're going to create a chart. So the reason why I want to do this is I just want to show you that the workspaces are independent from each other. So as long as you create multiple workspaces, for example, if I go back to the original CQG-white, you can see now the original workspace when you first, when the video first started, this is the workspace that you saw. Now if I tab over to the ES workspace, you can see it is an independent workspace and it only pulls up specifically that chart that I just opened for the ES workspace. All right, so this is going to give you the ability to do different things in terms of creating different layouts. In this case, I have a mini NASDAQ workspace, so I'll go File, New, and let's say I want to open up another chart. You're going to see that Format Instrument box pop open again. And then this time, instead of selecting a mini S&P chart, since I have that workspace labeled NQ, I'm just going to go ahead and select the mini NASDAQ contract. And you'll go to, let's see, ENQM16 will be the symbol. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And now you can see a chart has been created. And now if you notice, each tab again is independent. There's the ES chart. There's the NQ chart. And then here's the original workspace that we worked off at the beginning of the video. All right, so now if you want a couple things you can do as well, if you want to move perhaps the tab workspaces instead of the bottom, if you want it to be displayed at the top, you do have the ability to do that. Just simply right-click on the header title of the bar itself. And you should see an option that says Tab Settings, and you'll see right there Show on Top. So if you click on Show on Top, it's just going to simply move those tabs to the top. So it's all personal preference, really. So I'll just keep it back on the bottom since it really isn't a big deal for myself. But you do have the option to move those tabs to the top. And then the most important thing is you want to make sure you save those workspaces. So once you create your workspace and you have everything laid out exactly the way that you would like, then just simply right-click on the specific workspace. And you can go ahead and click Save As or Save. If you just save it, that's just going to save it internally within the platform. However, if you click Save As, this is going to allow you to save the workspace onto your hard drive, which is pretty important because just in case if you need to reformat your computer or perhaps you want to reinstall MultiCharts on a different computer and you don't want to go through the process of creating your entire workspace all over again. So I would recommend saving your workspace onto your desktop or perhaps saving it into a file location that you can remember where it is, and then simply email that file to yourself, or if you have a thumb drive, you can move it onto a thumb drive. So when you get onto your new computer and you want to install the software, you don't have to go through that entire process of creating all those workspaces. You can just simply import the workspace. So once you have the workspace stored on your hard drive on the new computer and you're ready to import the workspace, all you would need to do is launch MultiCharts, log into the platform like you normally would, and once the platform is open on the new computer, you would simply go to File and then Open Workspace, and identify and locate where that file is stored on the computer hard drive on the new computer, and then just simply select it and open it, and then it'll just open up that workspace as if you had it on the previous computer. Another thing as well, if you go into File and then Preferences, if you have one workspace and you don't have multiple workspaces, so let's just say you're just working off one workspace, then you may want to have the option Open Last Active Workspace from Previous Session selected. However, if you have multiple workspaces, as I've just created now, then it may be recommended to have Open All Workspaces from Previous Session. So whenever you open the platform, it will bring up the workspaces and populate them so you don't have to manually open them one by one. And this is pretty much a very straightforward video in terms of workspaces. It's really an easy way to save your work and back it up and move it over to different computers if you're reformatting perhaps, or if you have a new computer. It just saves a lot of time and just makes things a lot more efficient and easier for you to keep everything organized in terms of your workspaces. Other than that, guys, this is a short video about workspaces, and we'll see you in the next video. Thank you.